Good morning. So today is different from yesterday in that I don't have any hard deadlines or meetings or anything time specific, but I do need to get some things done before tomorrow. So I thought I'd time block this morning between 9 and 12 because those are my golden hours when I do my best work normally. So I'm going to do some assessing. I'm going to read and comment on a few documents, and 3 of those need to be done tomorrow. So I think I'll try to get as much done as possible before lunch because, I can expect a food coma at about 1:30. It's like clockwork. And I'd like to feel like I'm on top of things when that hits. What else? Well, this morning I added a motto to my cover page, and I like having, a word of the month, a word of the year, or a phrase to sort of inspire me. But I've seen others write this phrase or word or motto beforehand, and that just doesn't work for me. So I just like to raise the point that you can let this word or phrase emerge during the month or year. My inner rebel will just balk at an order that, this year will be all about clarity. No, it won't. I'm going to be confused as hell. So it's better for me to let things emerge on their own. So I was inspired by the layout of the cover, Fame and Fortune, and this concert picture. And this quote just popped into my brain this morning. Turnera, turnera, turnera utav bara helvete. Which is a Tobias Forge quote. Just a random phrase he used to explain how he built Ghost's following. Which it means tour, 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 like hell or something. That's not the correct phrase in English, but this phrase stuck with me. Right now, I feel like this is what I need to hold on to when it comes to my knee exercises, when it comes to filming these videos, just film, exercise, 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 because that's the only way to get anywhere. And sometimes that's, in April I had to rest a lot, but now I feel like it's time to tour like hell. And another thing that's also got to do with your inner rebel. Sometimes, you don't have to use your system all the time. I think GTD, I think David Allen has said this, that GTD allows you to rest or, take time off, do spontaneous things because you know that the system has got your back. So you know that you are on top of things even though you take a truancy day. And I was reminded of this the other day when I saw a post on Reddit where someone asked, because they found that when they wrote things down, like goals and stuff, they didn't do it. And I can identify with that. My inner rebel wants to do things spontaneously, and when it's written down, like creative projects, I have tried to set up plans for these workflow videos, and it just won't happen because I want to do it spontaneously. I don't want to plan out a video where I talk about trackers. I do it when it feels relevant to me, when I have something I want to say. I just switch on the camera and I say it instead of, you know, structuring everything in advance and editing and making a fancy video. No, I switch on the camera, I say what I want to say, and if someone wants to watch it, great. I won't produce any videos if I have to make a project out of it. So there are times when you can just not give a damn about the system. Just do what you want. But the system is there to help you know that you have this time, that you can take this time off, that you can just do what you feel like in the moment. Another thing that may seem utterly frivolous, but it's actually important when you use tabs, that is where you place them. Because I've made this new setup with my monthly tabs down the side here. So I put my May tab there, of course, because, you know, that was how I set it up. But I noticed that when I flipped open the book, only this first page sort of followed my finger and not the Dutch door pages because they're narrower. And when I'm in a month, when I'm in May, I don't use the calendar that much, only when I set up my weeklies. You know, then I check everything here and I transfer it to the weekly. What I do use a lot is the tracker. I use it several times a day, but when I flip the book open, that's not where I land. So I have to sort of, it's a hassle to get to that page. So I realized that the current monthly tab needs to be somewhere where when I flip it open, I'll land on the tracker page, because that's like in the morning, as soon as I wake up, I note my temperature, how many hours I've slept, and the weather. So I don't want to land on the calendar. I want things to move quickly, I'm an impatient person. So having the tab here instead helps me, it's just less friction. And it may seem like a small detail, but, it just helps to have physical tools that don't hinder you. All right, now it's after lunch, and I have commented on one of these documents, but I have 3 to go. I have listened to them, so I've crossed them off on the listening list, but I have to write feedback and just structure my thoughts on my assessment. And I did write some things down while I listened, and some things I have on my phone in my voice memos, so I will write that down as well in the actual document. So I have some things to get me started, but I only have an hour before the food coma hits, so I will have to use the time wisely. And I just heard the washing machine beep at me, and I haven't done my knee exercises yet, so I think I will do those things, more physical habits at 1:30. I mean, this is the reason I recommend tracking your energy level, because you will find things out about yourself, and you can, develop, or just you can reorganize how you spend your time, and so that you work with yourself and not against yourself. So now I'm going to look through these documents in the computer instead of listening to them, and really sort of assessing them in detail for an hour. Then I will do my knee exercises, I will do laundry, maybe some other things, maybe go to the recycling station, just things like that. Okay, I have done a lot of physical stuff, cleaning, exercising, and now it's time to go back to assessing. And as I said earlier, I have some voice memos that I recorded to help me, let's see. Går det att titta på samband mellan men att gilla baljväxter. One final tip for today when it comes to tracking habits and trying to build habits. I realized today that I needed to put some motivation here for hoovering, because that's one of the habits I'm most inconsistent with. And I've tried to, tell myself, oh, I want a clean house, I want to blah, blah, blah. Well, that really doesn't cut it as motivation for me. But now, when I have trouble with my knee, and that's really, really important to me, to not make it worse, to get better, I found a motivation in not wanting pieces of grit to lie on the floor so that I step on them and sort of trip over my own feet, because it hurts, and twisting my knee and sort of just getting thrown back to square one. So that's a really strong motivation for me to hoover or sweep the floors, because I don't want that to happen. That's really important. Try to find those motivations, because they're real. They're not based on some ideal self that doesn't exist. It's you really want this thing to happen. I also added a micro habit. So I added one yesterday to the tracker, and I've added another one today. And we're both slobs, me and my husband. Sorry, husband. But the kitchen is kind of a mess, and we're trying to reorganize it, but we're not getting anywhere, because sort of the day-to-day doesn't really work, and there's a lot of stuff on this counter. So I decided for us today that let's build a micro habit to remove one type of thing from this counter every day. Not only one thing. And we decided on drinks, like fizzy drinks, because it's a counter where he cooks and he needs the space, and there isn't any space, and big bottles of fizzy drinks cluttering up this counter really hinder his cooking. So we've decided to every day check that there isn't a bottle of anything drinkable on that counter. And when we've built that habit, we can go on to the next thing, remove spices that aren't needed at the moment or something. But the idea of, where is it from? I've read about micro habits. The idea is to build really small habits so that it's not really a burden to do it. It's a quick thing, you just floss one tooth, for example, and then you build the habit from there. So, okay, we're trying that out. That's the first step towards reorganizing the whole kitchen, is to remove fizzy drinks from the counter. It sounds ridiculous, but when you're a slob, you need to start small and be kind to yourself.